welcome to Movies That Move Me. I'm Elijah Winfrey. I'm your host, and I am also a filmmaker. And this show is all about the movies that made me want to be a filmmaker. So if you're here to hear me rip a movie to shreds or talk bad about the person who made it or the people involved, I'm not that guy. Sorry. I'm just going to fan out about these different films and tell you what I love about them. And today we're going to talk about one of those directors who I think gets a lot of crap from folks on the internet. And I'm not saying that, sometimes it's not deserved, but they really should watch how they talk about this film around me. I'm just saying, I love this film and I will, fight on that hill. I'm not going to die on that hill because that's a little dramatic, but I will fight on that hill for Armageddon from 1998. One of my favorites. In fact, brief story here before we get to the actual movie. So I didn't actually own Armageddon physically. And if you know anything about me, I'm a big physical media guy, so I like to own these movies too. And I work at a radio station during the morning time. And then during the afternoons where I do all my movie stuff, my podcasts, different things like that. That's why you might see me wear the same shirt in multiple episodes, because I have a family and I like to spend time with them from time to time. So I record everything on one day. But anyway, I was working at my radio station and a guy had heard that I love movies and that I make movies. And so he actually brought me like 3 boxes worth of movies, some VHSs, some DVDs. And among the DVDs was an unopened, now it's open now because I watched it the first night I got it, but an unopened copy of Armageddon. So I was super happy about that. And I just thought I'd like to share that with you. So anyway, but I love Armageddon. It's one of my favorites. It is directed by Michael Bay. And Michael Bay is known for, boom, pow, those type of effects, right? But not a whole lot of story. That's like the thing that a lot of people say about him is you go to watch Michael Bay if you want to see explosions and action. You don't go to Michael Bay if you want to see a heart-wrenching story. And to them, I say, you should really watch Armageddon before you say ignorant stuff on the internet. That's what I say. Because Armageddon, to me, is a gut-wrenching story. It is a film that, yes, it's got those action pieces in it that you would hope for. It's got a killer soundtrack. It's got some great performances and an ensemble cast that if they tried to do it nowadays, they wouldn't be able to afford everybody that they had in this film back in 98. Okay, if you really think about it, most of all those folks, okay, are like top of the line people nowadays, or unfortunately, they're no longer with us in some cases. But my point is, ensemble cast, you don't see them a whole lot anymore. They used everybody to the best of their abilities back in 98 for Armageddon. But what I love about this film, and I'm going to assume that you've seen it, okay? I'm going to assume that you've seen it. Otherwise, I'd have to read you the description. But basically, these oil drillers, which are led by Bruce Willis, have to work with NASA because they have to go onto a meteor, drill a hole 800 feet down in that meteor, and they have to blow up the meteor so that it'll somehow go around Earth and not hit us, because if it hits us, we're all dead. And they got 17 days, NASA does, to train these oil drillers to help save the planet. Okay, so it's not something that you would see nowadays or in real life. Okay, but they went for it in this movie, and I'm not here to get into the whole, is it anything realistic? That's not why I watched this film. But for me, Liv Tyler gives an amazing performance. Ben Affleck gives an amazing performance. And the relationship that I think takes the cake in this film is Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis. The kind of love-hate relationship they have between one another. Bruce Willis is obviously the father of Liv Tyler in this film. And Ben Affleck plays the boyfriend trying to be the fiance of Liv Tyler. And Bruce Willis doesn't like that because he's like, well, he's also a roughneck. And I always thought my daughter would aspire to something higher than that. And just the way that their relationship is written throughout this thing, again, it makes me go, people who think Michael Bay is all style, no substance, don't know what they're talking about, because I have never met anybody that watches Armageddon and isn't at least misty-eyed at the end of the film. At least misty-eyed, including myself. And so for me, I love Armageddon. I love how, in those moments where it needs a little bit of comedy, it's got it. And those moments where it needs to be serious, it's got it. And those moments where it's got to be frantic, it's got it. And I just feel like it is one of the best films I've ever seen. And I know that I'm continually growing. I'm always watching new things, old things, and everything in between. But to me, Armageddon is still top 10 for me personally. And it's a movie, it's a style of movie that I would love to replicate at some point in my career. But today I just figured I'd fanboy out about it, which I will say by extension, just to throw these other films in there too. When it comes to Michael Bay, I really love his first two Transformers films, specifically the first one, but I also like the second one as well. And I like, obviously his films with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence Bad Boys films. I know he didn't direct all of them, but the ones he did direct, I did enjoy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he actually directed any of those, but I know he produced them. They're kind of hit and miss for me. And I know he had a new one that came out that was Ambulance, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is what it was called. It did that weird thing where it was like, ambulance, but like some of the letters are more bold than the other ones. So like it's kind of given like fan four stick view, vibes. If you remember when they did Fantastic Four, but they turned the A in the middle of it to a four. Anyway, my point is Armageddon for me is like peak Michael Bay. And I would encourage folks who maybe haven't seen it in a while, or maybe you've never seen it before because you're like, oh, no, it's Michael Bay. And I just believe what people on the internet tell me. Go check it out. Make an opinion for yourself. But again, to me, man, it's a good film. It's a good film. And I hope someday I get to make one like that at some point. But Armageddon, it's a movie that moved me. And I hope you enjoyed me fanning out a little bit about, again, one of my favorite directors and in my opinion, one of his best films. And an ensemble that is just so much talent in that ensemble cast. But again, check it out. It is Armageddon from 1998, a movie that moved me. Thank you, everybody, so much. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on TikTok, remember to do the whole TikTok thing. That changes so much. Every time I go in the TikTok app, I learn something new. So do what you do, TikTok, and let's get this out there to everybody because I love talking movies, and I love talking movies with you. So thank you so much. I'm Elijah. Until we talk again, be good to yourself and good to others in that order. I'll see you soon.